You ever ask yourself, okay, the bank approved the short sale, now what? You've come to the right place, although the answer may not be what you're expecting. Hi, I'm Don Thornton. I'm known as Don the Short Sale Guy because I've helped well over 1,500 homeowners in my career get out from under houses where they're upside down and they may or may not be facing foreclosure and need to be able to save their credit and get out from a bad situation. So in this video, I want to talk to you about what happens when this bank gives you a short sale approval. We're going to be talking about inspections. We're going to be talking about the danger of a surprise appraisal or BPO that comes out of the blue, and setting a closing date if you're going to get relocation incentive money from the bank and moving out. So let's talk about once this is what usually happens. Okay, when a lot of buyers do not want to do inspections until they know they have a short sale approval. So it's a cost saving thing for them, because what they don't want is they're going to put an offer on a short sale house. They're going to spend money for an inspection, and then what happens if the bank doesn't approve it or rejects their offer, and they've wasted their money. So usually what happens is at that time, once the approval is given in writing from the mortgage company, the buyer will do their inspections. So the problem that comes up sometimes is the buyers may not be sophisticated, may not have any experience with buying short sale properties. Their typical MO, their typical practice in a regular sale is they do their inspections, and then invariably the home inspector finds something, because what good are they if they don't find something to prove their worth, right? And so typically what they in a regular sale, the buyer would go back to the homeowner and say, well, we've got this, and this, and I need you to give me a discount to get this thing done. A lot of times, the buyers and the buyers agents will come back to us and say, well, the bank's going to need to come off another $10,000 because of all this stuff here, and we need to submit this. And it's like, guys, it doesn't work that way in the short sale. You got to decide if that's going to work for you or not, and if it's a take it or leave it scenario. So if you see that there's these issues here and you want the bank to go down, when they get to the short sale approval in writing stage of the short sale, they ain't coming down. Okay, so remember that going into it. So if the buyer needs to understand that. Now, we create the proper expectations. We educate the buyer's agent and the buyer, so they know going into it about what they can and can't expect. So the problem is that a lot of agents don't know how to do this or aren't aware of this. And this is why so many agents don't specialize in short sales like we have for 20 years. That's where the problems come up. So you need to understand that and work with a company like us that we can make sure that we make the process go as smoothly as possible, because we know all the underwater rocks, all the landmines that you can come up on during the process, and we can make sure that people don't have things that happen that cause them to freak out or make unwise decisions. So what I would like for you to do is go down to the corner here where it says subscribe. I would love to have you subscribe to my videos and get notified when I put new content out, because as you can see, I put a lot of content out. I'm passionate about short sales. I love them, and I love to share what I've learned over the last 20 years. So go ahead, go down there, click on that subscribe button, and make me happy. Don't you want me to make me happy? All right. You got to be aware of the surprise BPO or the surprise appraisal. A BPO is a broker's price opinion, which is basically where the mortgage company will hire a realtor to go out there and take 8 pictures, look at the comps in the area, and give them an idea of what they think the as-is value of the property is. So I just covered how the buyer needs to be aware and be ready for the fact that the bank is not going to come down on their price just because they did an inspection and found some things that may or may not be wrong with the property. Okay, so we've already established that that is the tripwire for the bank. They're not going to come down. But isn't it weird to think the bank might have the rules for themselves that don't apply to anybody else? And that's the way this is here. We have seen this happen more and more as the market has been hot. Some bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, analytical person, nerd probably, said, you know what? This short sale started 4 months ago. Maybe the the values have increased, and we don't want to cut ourselves short with potential money that we could get in our pocket. Let's, even though we've already given you the approval, let's go ahead and do another BPO or another appraisal and see if we can squeeze another $10,000 from the buyer. They will do that. And again, if you are working with an agent that is inexperienced or a company that doesn't know how to do these things, they're not going to be ready for it. And, your whole deal may blow up because the buyer may say, I'm not doing this. We got this in writing and so forth. And we're walking, you got to start all over again. Okay. We anticipate that happening. So we already have our reports, all of our ducks in a row. We're ready to go there. And oftentimes, I would say 90% of the time, we get them to waive that updated BPO or appraisal order. Okay. But you got to be aware of those. They tend to happen. And so we work with a company that knows how to prepare for those and be ready and can fight those, because that's important to make sure that we get this thing approved and get it closed, which is the most important thing. Because no one, you don't, as a homeowner, you don't have a positive result unless you're out from under the property and you don't owe any money on it. And for us, we need to get paid if it closes, right? So if this brings up questions in your mind, if you think that, wow, that's fair or it's not fair or anything, just go down below in the comments section and talk to me. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, because I would love to engage with my viewers, and viewers often give me good ideas for the next video I want to do. So that would be cool. So do that, and I'd really appreciate it. All right. So now, if we've gotten over the scare of the surprise inspection, or inspection, I'm sorry, the appraisal, if the buyer's inspection has been handled, and so now the final stage is, okay, got to set a closing date. And when you get the short sale approval, it will state whether the homeowner is going to get a relocation incentive or not. Currently, we're seeing them to be about $3,000 to $5,000 is generally the way it goes. Now, there were certain programs the federal government had that would give more additional money to the banks, which would allow them in turn to pass that on as relocation incentives to homeowners. We were seeing them sometimes as much as $10,000. That's really kind of gone by the wayside. That doesn't happen that much anymore. But that agreement letter will state whether you get it or not. It will also state who the buyer is. Only that buyer is able to purchase a property. They're going to give you the approval is going to be good through a certain date, so you got to close before then, and it'll state whether they're going to go after you for a deficiency judgment or not. 99.999% of the time they're not going to, but that will be stated in the approval letter. And then if everything's fine, set a closing date, and the closing is exactly like you would have in a regular deal. Now, the way we work is we don't force you to go down to the closing office or the title company and do that. We just send a mobile notary out to wherever you're at, to where it's convenient, and they'll do the paperwork and so forth. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, obviously, if you're our client, we will have been getting you ready for this to make sure that you have a place to go. There's no last minute panic because now where do I go? That kind of thing. So everything's fine. Then you move out, and most of the buyers want you to be out of the property before it closes. Okay. But other than that, it's a regular sale and a regular transaction. So I hope that this gave you value, that you have a general better idea about what happens in a short sale after the approval has been given. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.